Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, always great to talk to our friend Larry Kudlow, CNBC senior contributor, host of the Larry Kudlow Show on Cumulus Radio. And you can hear that on your Cumulus station all over the country on Saturdays. And his column, you could read that all over the place as well. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
You're a very busy man.
I'm still busy.
Yes.
I'm still very busy.
I know you are. That's why I said it. Absolutely. All right, let's first of all, tomorrow we get the jobs numbers, and that's a quick turnaround. I thought they usually postpone it a week if Friday comes that quickly. But anyway, we're going to get the jobs numbers for the month of April tomorrow, because I can't believe it's May, but it is. They're predicting somewhere around 200,000. But even if it's 200,000, Larry, and you and I have talked about this, it's same old, same old. It's more of the same. This isn't going to get us out of anything.
Well, I think that's right. You've got some guys on Wall Street who are looking for some catch-up from the weather.
Right.
So I think the consensus is pushing through 200. This is a crapshoot number statistically, but 200 would be okay. The only trouble with it is it should be 300.
Right.
Or 350,000. We are, depending on how you count it, 8 to 10 million jobs below the long-run baseline where we ought to be. This is the worst jobs recovery thus far since the Bureau of Labor Statistics started counting this stuff back in 1939. And I just want to inject, one of the reasons is that businesses, large, medium, and small, are not making long-term investments in plant, in equipment, in, factories.
Uncertainty, right? Uncertainty.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? Yeah, it's uncertainty, but I think it's worse than that.
Go ahead.
I think they know they are facing a president and an administration which is across the board anti-business, whether it's taxing, whether it's regulating, whether it's speeches. They know, they feel in their bones that this is no time to take a long-term risk despite low interest rates, and they are not. And by the way, look at yesterday's GDP number, which was fairly flat.
I couldn't find it. It was so small.
The worst part of that number was the categories about business investment. The worst part of that number, and I don't think that was weather-related.
And here's what I've discussed over and over with you and others. Obama knows this. Obama sees this. Obama understands this. He's not a stupid man. If anything, he's not stupid. And I think this is exactly where he wants this country to be going.
Well, I think that's right. I think the president, if anything, is moving to the left, and he is much more interested in dealing with something called inequality. He does not want to reward success. He does not understand that it's the private sector and the business sector that drives growth. He also doesn't understand, by the way, that you can't grow a business without investment capital. You can't start a new business without investment capital. So why are we penalizing capital by raising the tax rates on capital? Why is our corporate tax rate at 40% all in, twice what Britain's is, which is 20%? Take a look, read the story. Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company, wants to buy AstraZeneca, another good one, and guess where they want to domicile? London, not the New York, London. Guess why? It's a 20 percentage point tax differential. The president had never had a plan to really have a reform of the tax code. He wants to tax businesses and regulate them.
Right, and then call them evil for wanting profit or taking advantage of, well, as he famously puts them, loopholes, which is exactly what he does when he pays an effective tax rate of 21% or 22%, and the president, the vice president as well. He's taking advantage of deductions, as we call them, or as he likes to call them and portray them as evil, loopholes.
Go to Keystone. Go back to Keystone. This whole delay and deferment of the Keystone Pipeline decision, all right? Two things. Number one, it sends a message of weakness to Vladimir Putin, because if we pump energy like crazy and export it to our friends in Europe, that'll undermine Putin's stranglehold on oil and gas. By the way, more oil and gas will lower the prices. That will hurt him. We're not doing that. Keystone sends the wrong message. Number two, tens of thousands of jobs will be lost. So the blue-collar unions are losers, and the businesses that employ them are losers. This is a lose-lose proposition. It's another slap in the face of business at a time when we do need infrastructure. We do need infrastructure, but that infrastructure includes a serious pipeline infrastructure to help us with the energy boom, and he won't go there.
No, absolutely not. And Larry, you know, the Supreme Court weighed in the other day, backing again. I mean, they love to back the EPA for some reason, backing the EPA's right on the mercury air toxic standards, the MATS, which which they say will eliminate 90% of mercury and acid gas released into the air by coal-fired plants. And basically, you're going to have now even more regulation on the coal industry. A lot of coal plants shutting down up and down the coast of this country and within the country. And again, it's just more regulation and the death of an industry, which, by the way, for anyone who was listening, Obama basically predicted he would make it impossible for the coal industry to survive.
Yeah, there's no question. The EPA wants to destroy the coal business. Their regulations up to now make it impossible to create new coal plants. And frankly, those regulations are going to spill over into existing coal plants. You know, we could export a lot of coal. I get it that natural gas, and we are abundant with the fracking and so forth. Nat gas is the fuel of the future. Okay, I get that it's cleaner than coal, but again, you've got hundreds of thousands of people in the coal business. If they lift that coal, they could sell that overseas. I mean, look, the Chinese don't care, and a lot of countries don't care about the environment the way we care. So they could sell that. They could be profitable, all right, and they could continue to employ. And maybe over time they can make enough money to clean the coal. Coal has been cleaned up a little bit, but the EPA is going to destroy the coal business. No two ways about it.
Absolutely. By the way, the weekly job claims rose to 344,000, up 14,000 from the previous week. You know, how much is this Obamacare fiasco? You know, that's just is that the biggest single regulation, if you will, that you believe is affecting what's going on with businesses?
Well, I think I don't know. It might be. It's a close call between that and the punitive corporate tax. I wouldn't fret about the weekly jobless claims are pretty low, and you know we're going to get, as I say, probably a couple 100,000 jobs.
Right.
But you know, Obamacare, right, it's a jobs killer. It's a hiring killer. The whole issue of the 49ers, you hire the 50th person, you got to pay the expense of Obamacare mandates. If you work more than 30 hours, the 30th hour worked forces you to go into Obamacare. So businesses, here's a perfect example. Businesses are holding back. They're holding back hiring, and they're holding back hours worked. Why? Because they're not sure now with all the changes. I mean, Obama, randomly makes these changes without Congress.
Right.
He moves the deadlines around, and he changes the rules of the game. Businesses don't know the rules of the game, and they don't know what the deadlines are going to be. They don't even know if there's going to be an employer mandate.
Right.
We don't even know if there'll be an individual mandate. But the point I'm making is, as long as you don't know, there's your uncertainty factor that holds back employment.
Let me ask you, a Hillary Clinton presidency, in my view, God forbid, what would that mean for everything we're talking about now? More of the same?
Well, that's a very good question. You know, that's an interesting question. Take a look at the front page story in the New York Times today. Bill Clinton defending his economic legacy. Very interesting, okay? You know what? From the day he got licked in the 1994 elections and the Republicans took the House and Senate, let's just call it Gingrich, okay?
Right.
Clinton, working with Gingrich from 94 to 2000, was a good economic president, all right? I'm not going to talk about his personal life. I'm not going to talk about a lot of things.
Sure.
But I will say this. You had, after they raised taxes and they tried a state-run health care plan in 93, 94, and they got shellacked at the polls. What did he do? He joined with Republicans to cut spending, to reform welfare, to make free trade agreements, and also to lower the capital gains tax by 8 percentage points. Clinton's rhetoric was pro-business, pro-growth, pro-jobs, pro-entrepreneur.
We got less than a minute, so I don't want to. I just want you to speed it up a little. Yeah.
Will the real Hillary Clinton please stand up? Will she be like her husband, or will she be pulled to the left by Elizabeth Warren and Bill de Blasio? I don't know that, Steve. That could be one of the keys to the 2016 election.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting. Larry, great to talk to you, sir. Can't wait to the next conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Larry Kudlow, ladies and gentlemen, CNBC senior contributor, host of the Larry Kudlow Radio Show, and columnist extraordinaire. Always love talking to him and listening to him. And as I mentioned, sometimes when I get the privilege of filling in on WMAL Radio in Washington, D.C., I say stay tuned for the Larry Kudlow Show next, because he comes on at 7 p.m. for those of you in Washington and want to hear him on WMAL. Anyway, neither here nor there. Very interesting. Yeah, who is the real Hillary Clinton when it comes to the economy? I guess any way the wind blows. On the Steve Malzberg Show, the Give Me Five is next.